regular weekly chairman's update. The busy summer of 2025 is continuing. A lot to report this week. Of course, this week on Tuesday was the state primary election day. And as usual in our odd-numbered years, the focus of our elections in Washington State this year are local. So city council races, some city official races, mayors, a few cases, some county-wide races, and a lot of school board races. And really, the focus that we have here at the State Republican Party on these odd-numbered years is in the school board races. As you'll remember, 2 years ago in 2023, we started a school board candidate program where we backed a small number of school board candidates around the state. 2 years ago, it was 36 candidates, and helped them do fundraising, help them develop their policy points, help them organize their campaigns. School board elections are technically nonpartisan. You don't run as a Republican or a Democrat, and that's fine. But we do support school board candidates who reflect conservative values and really want to return our public schools around the state to reading and writing and math and hard sciences, a focus on truly basic education, and to move our public schools away from more politicized indoctrination of young minds. Really get them strong on their reading, writing, math, and hard sciences, which is what our state used to do back when our public school system was one of the top 3 or 4 in the country. As you know, our public school system has fallen to the low 30s, 38, 36, somewhere in that range. And we need to get our rankings, our national rankings, back up again by returning to core learning tools, to core elements of basic education. The Washington State Republican Party supports school board candidates who will do that. And this year, we've expanded our school board support program to about 82 candidates, about 82 school board races around the state. Remember, in the state of Washington, there are a total of 295 school districts. So there are lots of school board races going on every odd-numbered year. This year, we're going to help 82 of those candidates and hopefully keep the pendulum moving back toward a focus on basic education. So the results in the primary were good. Almost all of our 80-plus supported candidates made it through the primary. Only 1 or 2 had trouble getting through the primary. And remember, the primary results are not even final yet. But it looks like our nearly complete list of about 82 supported school board candidates will be proceeding on to November in the general election. We'll have more details on those school board races soon. Also this year, of course, there are a number of special elections for the state legislature in Olympia, unusual in an odd-numbered year. And the 2 that we are watching most closely are both state senate races to the state senate in Olympia. One in the 26th legislative district, which is kind of the Gig Harbor, Port Orchard area, so a little bit of Pierce County and a little bit of Kitsap County. And the other special election is in the 5th legislative district, again, the state senate spot there. And the 5th legislative district is the far suburbs of King County, so Issaquah and Enumclaw are part of the 5th legislative district. So those 2 races, special elections for the state senate this year. Next, the candidate we support is Michelle Collier, and in the 5th, the Issaquah Enumclaw district, the state senate candidate we support is Chad Magandez. And both Collier and Magandez are in the mix. The races coming out of the primary very tight. Both of them are a mark in the high 40s, fluctuating a little bit as votes are counted in the days after the primary election day. But we expect both of those races to be highly competitive. They're currently held by appointed Democrat state senators. So both Collier in the 26th and Magadaz in the 5th are challenging appointed, not elected, Democrat state senators. So we like their chances, and we are going to be working hard those candidates as they go forward to the general election in November. We need to get the vote out. The one lesson we've learned from this primary is voter participation, voter turnout is continuing to be on a downward slope here in Washington. And we need to turn out common sense conservative voters. We need to get people to send their ballots in. And that's going to be a big challenge. We will do that in a number of ways between now and the general election in November. Some of it's going to be kind of marketing and information. Some of it's going to be nuts and bolts, boots on the ground campaign work. And that's the ballot harvesting, going and collecting, picking up ballots from people and taking them in to the county election officials to be counted. So there's a lot of that to come. We'll be talking about that more and more as we move from summer into fall. The second point, aside from the primary election results this week, was a really stunning report from the independent journalist Glenn Morgan, who runs the podcast and information website WeTheGoverned.com. Glenn Morgan has come out with really a barn burner of an investigative report, the kind of things that mainstream media used to do, but the Seattle Times and the local TV news channels don't really do very often anymore. Glenn Morgan has done an investigative, a proper old school investigative report on registered voter databases, the voter rolls in our state, and using information he's gotten from whistleblowers at the state government level and some county level whistleblowers and other information, he has been able to show that approximately 14% of the registered voters in Washington state are not legally registered to vote. They are not registered with any verification of who they are, often done with a social security number, other times done with other identifiers. About 1 in 7 of the registered voters in Washington state are not legitimate. They're not legitimately registered. This is a stunning and important piece of reporting and information from Glenn Morgan. It really underscores the need for Initiative 26-, our initiative to require proof of citizenship when people register to vote in Washington. There's sloppy, barely any due diligence done when people register to vote. The state will register just about anybody. They'll check a box and register them to vote. That is not a secure election system. Glenn Morgan's stunning report underscores the need for greater election security and greater election integrity in Washington state. There's going to be a lot more to talk about this as the summer moves into fall, and the petitions in support of the Proof of Citizenship initiative are out now. You may have seen them at county fairs or other places, and they will be gathering signatures through the end of the calendar year. So we have until the end of December to collect the qualifying signatures to require proof of citizenship when people register to vote in Washington. And again, this initiative does not end vote by mail. The Seattle Times made a false statement when it said that it would. and it doesn't touch other elements of the election process, doesn't affect actually voting, just requires proof of citizenship when you register to vote. And the last bit of news this week, and this is just good news. It was just recently reported that Pete Serrano, the mayor of Pasco in the Tri-Cities area, and our endorsed candidate for state attorney general in 2024 has been appointed the U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Washington. That's the U.S. attorney, the federal U.S. attorney's office that's based out of the Spokane area. We have two federal districts in our state, the Eastern District based out of Seattle, the Western District based out of Seattle, and the Eastern District based out of Spokane. Serrano will be the U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Washington. This is a great, great piece of news. Pete Serrano is a constitutionalist, he is a common sense conservative, and he is a very good lawyer. He will be outstanding, I believe, as the U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of the state. He will be keeping an eye on some of the shenanigans going on in Seattle and Olympia and Spokane and Tri-Cities and all around the state. So it's great news that Pete Serrano is going to be the U.S. attorney in the eastern part of the state. Congratulations, Pete. We are all very happy to see you moving into that position, on a critical position to enforce law and order in our state. Much, much needed. That's it for a very busy week. It's been busy here at the offices in Bellevue. It's been busy all around as we ballot harvest and get ready for busier than usual 2025 election season, heading to the general election in November. There's a lot more to talk about in budgets, in taxes, and everything else. But for now, have a great week, be well, and stay strong.